We all have been broke at least once in our life. Is it a good feeling? Of course not. Being broke is the most aggravating thing in the world because it costs to live, as we know. Wouldn't it suck to feel like you're grinding for nothing? That's exactly what student athletes feel like after the season when they hold up the championship trophy and still end up broke and have no income at all. That's the reason why student athletes should be paid because many people in college are broke and it will increase the graduation rate. Now, my first segment of my speech is the importance of finance, and the majority of college students are broke in general. My point is, many people in college face financial issues at an all-time high. Students who are in school full time find it hard to work and do school at the same time because of the valuable time they have. Students have to be fully focused in their studies, especially if they want to be a doctor or a nurse after school. According to the Good Call website, it said a whopping 76% of people who polled said they had gone broke at some time during their college career. Not to mention, I'm a full-time student, and the first 2 years of college, I was broke, and I had to ask my family for money so I can do the things that I wanted to do. I played football in high school, so I can relate to other student athletes because being one is basically having a job, having a full-time job at that, and you barely get time off, and then one season leads to another season, so it's no time and no room for getting a job. Another point is the NCAA gets tons of dollars off of student athletes. The National Collegiate Athletic Association, which is the NCAA, generates nearly $1 billion a year. According to the USA Today article, it says that the NCAA had close to 1.1 billion in annual revenue during its 2017 year. The NCAA has primetime games on the top television channels, ESPN, NBC, and TNT for both college basketball and college football games. College players' names are always mentioned in the articles through the games, and they don't get no recognition for it and don't get a dime for any of that. Collegiate players like Zion Williamson and Joe Burrow receive almost the top of the line awards in college. The names were always mentioned on ESPN and SportsCenter, and they didn't receive any cash to support themselves. Another point is the coaches get paid millions of dollars. Coaches in college receive an abundant amount of money if they win a certain amount of games. The LSU Tigers football team had a historic season going to win 15 games and win a national championship. On the WAFB9 website, it says that Coach Ogeron, which is the head football coach of the LSU football Tigers, he received $1.7 million in bonuses for the LSU's 15-0 run and a national championship victory. Not to take anything from the coaches, because they deserve just as much credit as the players, but it's crazy that the players don't receive anything else but rings, and they're still broke and they don't have any income coming in. All their hard work, dedication, the early mornings, the late nights really lead to nothing in the end because their coaches are getting credit of their accomplishments. While student athletes struggle with the temptation of not getting paid, colleges are seen to see a drop-off of student athletes not finishing school to get their degrees and going to the pros to go professional to make money. This brings me to my last point, which is the greed and why many student athletes don't finish and they turn professional at a young age. The National Basketball Association has one of the lowest rates of professionals with college degrees because student athletes are allowed to stay only 1 year in college, and at the end of their freshman year, they're eligible for the draft and turn pro. In a sports rec article, it says that the professional basketball community feels an estimate of players 21 with college degrees. And that's unacceptable from a university standpoint. And they should urge to find ways to raise the percentage of student athletes graduating from college. And one way is by paying them to, for what they do. Back in the day, coming straight out of high school was very common. It was a rare occasion. Like NBA stars like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett didn't attend college. They came straight out of high school because they were poor and they had to support their families right away. But if they got paid to go to college, they probably would have had a degree too in something. According to the sports news articles, it says 86% of college athletes live below the poverty line. That's why so many people, so many young athletes go pro early, because they need to get paid, because a lot of them are poor, they come from poverty, and they come from broken homes. And this brings me to my conclusion. Some people might say that college athletes shouldn't get paid, but it's like athletes are just going to college to go pro and forget about graduating, instead of being about graduating and then turning pro after they finish, so they can support their families. That's why college athletes should be paid, so they can be financially stable while they're getting their studies and trying to get their degrees.